In today's lesson, we're going to listen to and break down this incredible section from AC/DC Bag and see what we can learn about soloing over chord changes straight from Trey. First, here it is slowed down with the chord changes. Hey, Chris here. Let's get right into it. So now that you've seen the solo section, that 30-second clip, kind of slowed down, I'm going to break it down, lick by lick and explain what's happening as the chords go by. So the first thing that happens is there's an A major chord that happens first, or an A7, and Trey does this really classic kind of blues lick where he starts on the 7th fret, like that. So that's something you've probably seen before from him or from other players. The next chord is a C major, and he's going to highlight the note C. And typically on the A major and the C major chords, he's doing like A minor pentatonic, so you could kind of view it from that lens. Then as the chords go by, it switches to a D major. Now what he's going to do here is just slide with the index up to the note D, and if you can imagine a D major arpeggio there, you could view it as like the G shape. He's hitting the root of the chord, then the 5th, and then this really cool pre-bend, and this kind of almost like country lick. Now the chord change goes back to a C major, and he goes right back to this kind of bluesy lick, but this time it's even a little more spiced up. He goes... That is such a great lick. The ending part with the bend has a real certain kind of timing to it. So just kind of play around with that. Here it is one more time from 5th fret. And that leads us to the next chord in the progression, which is going to be F, and he hits the note F here on the 6th fret of B. And just real quick, I want to make a point that a lot of the strategy, it seems here, if you want to call it that, or the approach that he's taking is, like I said, on the A chord, the C chord, A minor pentatonic. It seems like when he goes to the D chord, like I just showed you, he tends to do either like a D triad kind of based idea, or like a D major pentatonic, which is a little bit what happened there. Then now we're back to, or we just went back to C, and he went back to minor pentatonic, A minor pentatonic, I should say, over the C, because A minor pentatonic and C major are really compatible with each other. Now that brings us to the F that I just hit. Now think about it like this. A minor pentatonic also has a lot of the tones that are in an F major chord. So really all he does a lot of times, or I don't want to say all he does, but all you really need to do to bring out that F, major sound is just play the note F, because a lot of the other notes are already really compatible. So here, after this, we're going to hit an F, then we go up and bend from the 8th fret to the 10th fret, and that's basically hitting the major third of that F chord. Then he's going to hit pinky finger on 8th fret of the E string, which is the 5th. So if you can kind of imagine, I like to picture the triad that's being played there. He does that one in You Enjoy Myself. So instead of doing that fretted like that, he's bending and then hitting the pinky and then bending down. Then he slides for the next chord, which is A, to more of like a typical kind of triad form. He's just descending from the fifth to the third to the root. So from the F again. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video. We're going to get right back to it in a second. I just wanted to say that if you want to be able to just pick a guitar up and just kind of flow and improvise, but maybe you don't know quite what kind of stuff to work on, or maybe you feel a little stuck in your playing in general, or if you want to really get down your favorite Fish song, you know, start to finish, then you've got to check out my online course and community, Elevated Improv. I've got a couple different options. I've got one for people that just want to do their own thing and work at their own pace. And then another option for people that need a little more guidance. You can do a goal setting session with me, and then there are weekly group sessions with a great group of people that just want to get better and love improvisation and love Fish, and it's a great time. So there's a link in the description. Check it out. Now back to the video. Now this next chord is going to be a G major chord, and this is part of why I wanted to like do this whole thing, was because of this next run that I think is just incredible. When you really break it down, it's simple in terms of what he's using, but it's not so easy to play, and I have no idea how he came up with this in the moment. Okay, so remember, this is going to be a G chord he's playing over, and the lick goes like this. It starts on the and of 1, 1E. Now I'll get to the next part, but let me break that down. So picture like a G major with like a C shape, although we're never going to, you know, get all the way down there, but we're going to start from the 10th fret and do this kind of, probably a kind of a familiar chromatic thing from the 5th to the 3rd, but this is the part that really tripped me out. Then he hits the major 7th of G and then slides from the minor 3rd to the major 3rd to the root. So here's that lick. It's almost like a bluegrass thing. It's so cool. All right, so then an anchor slide from the 5th down. So there he's just hitting the root and then going up to the 2nd or the 9th. And there, now as crazy as that is that he did that in the moment, that last if you think about it, that first bit that he did, the chromatic run down from the 5th down to the 3rd, he's just kind of doing that in reverse, going back up. It's just that he's sprinkling in the anchor slide, and then just he keeps going back to this 5th, and it's such an awesome sound. Let me do that entire kind of G lick put together. Now this leads us right back to the A major chord, so there's going to be another round of this chord progression. He slides right into kind of the same form that I was visualizing for this kind of crazy bluegrassy lick. It's the same kind of thing. He's just grabbing the upper structure of it. Some of you may prefer to visualize that more as like a D shape. All good either way. So then we're going to a C major chord. Let me break that down a little bit. I picture that as a couple different things, like either a C triad, just like we did for the D, or wait, no, I'm kind of looking into the future. That's coming next. That C major triad is so nice and easy to visualize and see there, but he also has an A in there. So you could also think of that as like the second position of your A minor pentatonic. Either way, it's all good. Then he leads up to a D, and here he holds that note for a second, and he does this really cool sweep. And in the moment, it sounds really fast and awesome. It is fast and awesome, but it's really simple too. So if you want to improve your sweep picking kind of stuff like that, what it is just 2 strokes. It's a down stroke, and you're hitting 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, and then you go up on the 4th note. So doing that really slow, it's like da ga da da, da ga da da, da ga da da, but it's down, up, down, up. Don't think of those as separate downs, not like down, 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 but just down, up. Okay, so he does that on the D, which is awesome. And then just slides from the 5th of that shape, if you can visualize it like that, back down. The next chord in line is a C. So that part is pretty simple after the like kind of shreddy slide. He just kind of holds that for a second. Now this next little piece is so cool. It's a lot, you know, like, or I shouldn't say that. It's similar to the thing we did here with it's kind of like that. It's just that now we're on the F chord, and here's what he does. He starts on the and of 1 again, rhythmically. That's important. He's going to start on the 8th fret of B. And he leads back to the A. Let me break that down a little bit. So we're actually, if you picture like either like a D shape there, or if you want to visualize it like the C shape, you know, all good. Again, either way. He's starting on G, which is, you know, that's either the 2nd or the 9th, and it's in the A minor pentatonic, so it's interesting. I don't know where he, you know, obviously I have no idea what he was thinking there, but maybe it was like more minor pentatonic bass right there, and then he just hits that F kind of shape, or that F chord with the D shape, and he kind of slides away from it, and then that last little piece is starting on the 7th fret of D. And then we're kind of making our way toward this A chord again, and he descends from the 8th fret of B string, minor 3rd of A to major 3rd, and then like that. Why don't I play that part kind of more medium tempo so you can hear how that kind of all pieces together. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 2. Then he just kind of goes, he kind of just completes the triad there. And then take that same form, and for this last little piece, he moves down to a G now and goes. The jam obviously goes on from there, but I feel like just in that like 30-second clip, there's like a treasure trove of amazing things we can grab and use in our own playing. But just, you know, like to kind of recap everything, the approach is pretty simple, like in the things he's using. So over the A major chord, the C chord, and again, if you're doing dominant chords, that works too. He's doing like A minor pentatonic over that. And then he just grabs elements of either like D major pentatonic or D triads. Then as it slides back to the C chord, he locks right back into like maybe an A minor pentatonic lick or maybe a little bit of a C triad, basically just following the chords. And then on the F chord, really just, you could just think of your A minor pentatonic plus the note F. One thing this reminds me of, it's kind of random, but it relates to it, I promise, is the first part of the guitar solo for Stairway to Heaven. Jimmy Page was doing the same kind of thing where he's mostly using that pentatonic, but as the chord hits F, he just literally hits the note F, and it just helps everything gel together. So Trey seems to do that on the F chord here. And then he'll like spice things up with a little chromaticism or that anchor slide move on the 5th, going away from it and back to it. Typically, though, this is kind of interesting. On the last time he plays the A in the progression, because it goes A, C, D, C, then F, we already covered that. Now this last A, he typically, instead of going to A minor pentatonic, it seems like then he does like an A major triad kind of thing, like I was showing here. You know, that sort of thing happened in both of those both halves of the thing I just showed you. And then for the G chord, similar thing. He just kind of highlights either, the G triad like I showed before, or kind of keeps it really simple. Then it just kind of keeps going like that, back to A minor pentatonic and on and on. So the main thing I want to get across here, or hopefully that came across, is it's simple things. I know it sounds complicated because he does it so fast in the moment, and he's so creative with the melodic ideas he comes up with, but the things that he's using are simple things. So we all can grab some of that and use it in our own way, or at least that's my hope. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you soon.